York City for a bachelorette party. This isn't what they expected. So, Lexi, you said you were in Astoria. You started kind of feeling the shaking. What happened after that?
Yes, we were walking into one of the little suburb areas, and there was a big bunny, a big Easter bunny that was in the yard, and it was swaying super fast. It was like, what the heck, this is weird. Didn't really make sense, didn't connect to my brain, and then literally, like, we were walking a couple, I don't know, blocks away. I was getting text messages from my friends in Philly. They were getting messages from their parents, their friends, and then we saw a woman come out from her basement and ask us if we were okay, if we felt the shakes, and she was freaking out. And then it kind of all connected that we just experienced an earthquake, and that's something I'll be able to say forever.
And you said that's not.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.
For other things to happen in New York City, but not the earthquake.
We were ready for everything. Personally, I'm not scared of anything, but now I'm kind of scared of earthquakes.
A little bit, I think that the aftershock is something a lot of people are worried about possibly happening. You're still going around here in the city. Is that going to change your plans at all for this bachelorette party?
Absolutely not. She's getting married regardless, so I might as well have fun with it. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much for talking to us. But that's what you hear, Molly and Bill. It's like either people really felt it and noticed the shaking when they were sitting down at the table or when they were walking in those neighborhoods. They mentioned, again, that lady came right out of her basement in Astoria outside of the city and was yelling, like, who felt that? Was that an earthquake? So I think once people started seeing some of those notifications come through, that it was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New York City, that's what they're surprised about.
You just needed those Buckeye girls to bring a sense of humor to it, Alexis.
Yeah. I should have told them. I should have asked them if they knew Bill Hemmer.
No, she told you she's going to get married anyway, so that's good news.
Too late for Bill Hemmer. She's taken. And they're going to that party no matter what. Excellent. Alexis, thank you so much.
Thank you. In light of the bridge.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
Up and down New Jersey Transit, they're inspecting all the bridges. You would expect something like that to happen. It was kind of like the warning that New York City officials put out to everybody who manages a building in New York, of which there are many, more than 1 million. Is check your building, make sure everything's okay. But so far, it's good. So that's good news.
Yeah, they have a special line for that, and they said their phones are not ringing off the hook. So.
Let's keep it that.
Show the channel some love and subscribe so I can continue bringing you the videos.
I'm assuming you were in Connecticut when this happened, and just.
Oh yeah, I asked people in my department here in New Haven, Connecticut. They felt it, and quite excited by it.
So this is your business.
Yeah.
So take us through your experience and help us understand it.
If you like what you're watching, you gotta subscribe for more.
Small jolts are part of like a seismologist business. I grew up in California, so I'm actually accustomed to somewhat larger earthquakes. But out here in the east, we have a lot of old fault zones that are still weak, and that they respond to like stresses that build up in the crust of the earth along the coastline. The Northeast, and especially the whole east coast of the United States, has earthquakes of this size. Usually it's kind of like on a decade-long scale. We had an earthquake of actually somewhat larger in Mineral, Virginia in 2011 that was a magnitude 5.8. Now that's actually a 30 times larger release of energy, and it was felt over a wider area than the earthquake today. But it did not lead to larger earthquakes or an active fault zone. It was just a pop as that old fault was reacting to some stresses.
Some of the information you and other experts have been giving us today has offered a little bit of peace of mind as far as what to expect in the coming days and weeks. So there's some hope there that this could be it, or at least the most serious of the aftershocks. But, when you talk about New England, as you mentioned, the bedrock is older, but also the buildings. In California, where there are more frequent earthquakes, some of the buildings are made for that. But here in New England, across the Northeast, there are some pretty old historic buildings. It's just an older place, generally, in America. Your thoughts on what it could mean for the structure of buildings, that sort of thing?
Well, the older the building is, it's more likely that it would be susceptible to severe shaking. I mean, we're thankful that the shaking that we get from the earthquakes from around in the Northeast is not usually as large as what you would experience in California. But it would be a concern if you had an earthquake about as large as a magnitude 6 or so. However, late in the 20th century, the recognition of earthquakes of about this size every now and then, on the decade-long scale, inspired an improvement in in building codes so that any modern building is going to be able to withstand shaking of an earthquake of this size, or even a larger
We all
earthquake like
received
that of the Mineral Virginia
alerts
in
on our
2011.
phone from the earthquake today. 4.0 magnitude earthquake.
They have the equipment there, and they know when there are
Fell
tremors
from
or
Boston to
when the earth
DC.
moves in, or whether or not there are aftershocks.
Mhm.
Do you have any of that equipment at Yale?
Oh yeah, we do. In fact, we picked up this earthquake on it from our basement. There's a sensor. In
I
the basement
personally
that
didn't
picked
feel
up,
nothing.
We're
in upstate New York.
It's clear as day.
And just what happens when that takes place? Do you get an alert? Do you get an alarm? Take us through that.
Well, what happens is we will typically not have an alarm.
You want to see more videos like this? You gotta subscribe. Thanks for watching.
We know that something interesting has happened. Of course, in
God
this
bless.
case,
Be
the
safe.
building shook, so people
See you next time.
went to look at the data feed.
Yeah, there's a pretty good sign there. Sir, can you tell, the gentleman we spoke to in Los Angeles said there's been no more activity. Can you confirm that?
There's been no significant activity that we've been able to detect right now. Now, there are networks of seismometers in New Jersey that will be picking up even the smallest tremors down to like magnitudes 1 or 2. And so I would expect that there'll probably be kind of a map of these tiny tremors that occur after this earthquake afterwards.
Okay.
The chance of earthquakes that could be felt in a wider region that will persist for days and weeks. But it's very unlikely that this would lead to an earthquake aftershock that's the same size or bigger.
All right. Hey, you're a terrific guest. Thank you. And you're living your best life on a day like today, right?
I guess.
Think about that. That's extraordinary. Okay, sir, thank you very much.
God bless. Stay safe.
An
Subscribe.
exciting basement at Yale, yes. We want to take it back to Jane Menard. She has some new information over there from Fox Weather. Jane, what do you got?
Yeah, just as the professor was saying, a network across New Jersey where we are monitoring for those aftershocks. Of course, it was magnitude 4.8 earthquake that really jolted us all this morning. And just about an hour ago, at about 11:20, we do have a recorded magnitude 2.0 aftershock. This about 5 miles west of Bedminster, New Jersey. Obviously, it is very weak. There wasn't a lot of shaking that was felt with this, but again, there's that 46% chance that over the next 7 days, we are expecting to see the potential of a magnitude 3 or perhaps greater aftershock. So we're going to be watching this network very closely in and around the area. Now, it's been the strongest earthquake, of course, in 139 years, over a century for the New York City area, preliminary strongest in over 240 years for New Jersey. And so it's just incredible stats when you take a look back at how we haven't seen something like this ever since any of us were alive here to experience it. The seismometer here in Pennsylvania clearly picking up on the earthquake that happened earlier this morning. And again, this network of seismometers are going to continue to monitor for those aftershocks. Preliminary reports are bringing in, of course, a lot of shaking from Pennsylvania through New Jersey. The strongest of that shaking, moderate to strong, was, of course, in and around the epicenter. And we are getting some information about the fault lines in and around this area. Of course, this is the Ramapo fault system. So you have the Ramapo, the Hopewell, and the Flemington. And in early indications, this could be a thrust fault.
Okay. Jane, thank you. Stand by. We got more questions for you, but we'll hold that, okay?
Yeah, that's for sure.